The Tekken Talk Live was insane, and we got so much new content for Tekken 8. And I'm going to try and cover all of it in this short video, so let's get to it. So the first thing they talked about was the story of Tekken 8. The title here says The Dark Awakens. Now, I don't know if that's what the entire story for Tekken 8 is called, or if maybe that's just the first chapter. It wouldn't make sense for them to just put story and then say The Dark Awakens, so maybe that is what the entire story mode is called. But if you've been keeping up with Tekken's story, it's about Jin facing off with his father Kazuya, hoping to reconcile for all of his wrongdoings in Tekken 6. And while showing off this cinematic, they talked about how this is only 6 months after the event of Tekken 7. Which honestly, that's crazy to me that there isn't a bigger time gap between the games. But not even a year has gone by since the events of Tekken 7 and Heihachi's death. And can we just talk about this cinematic? You got Lars pulling a Nick Fury in the command ship, with Jin riding his motorcycle up a building. He is defying gravity to ride off the side of a building, throw his motorcycle at a helicopter to potentially kill Kazuya. Only in Tekken. Only in Tekken. I love it. But Kazuya, of course, since this is a Tekken game, just walks out of the helicopter crash like nothing happened. You know, his pilots totally aren't dead. Confronting Jin, and then they fight. We even get quick time events, which I didn't even know was in this game, with multiple cutscenes happening even during the fight, just like in Tekken 7. But the cinematic ends when it seems like Jin activates his devil gene. And they said that this is just a fraction of what the story mode will be. I want to say it's the opening cinematic, but it might be a mission in maybe the middle of the story, setting up for Lars being inside the central hub and Jin on his motorcycle. So I don't know where that is in the story, but dude, it looks good. Next up, they talked about special style. And honestly, I like the idea of special style because it'll help players like me that are bad at the game, that just want to get into it and have some fun, but still be able to match up with the pro players a little bit. It looks like special style simplifies combos into just pressing a certain button multiple times, giving you a single button for your heat burst. It's a great idea, and it'll help out a ton of new players just joining the Tekken series. And yeah, I'm going to be using it because I'm bad. Next up is character episodes. So think of arcade in the past Tekken games. It consists of you picking a character, participating in a certain number of fights, maybe a cutscene with your rival, and then at the end when you win, you get a little cinematic. So it's cool to see them bring back these cinematic endings for each character. They specified that every character will have their own, sort of if they won the King of the Iron Fist Tournament 8. So I'm excited to see what each cinematic shows off with each character to kind of give them depth and giving them more backstory. Probably one of the craziest things in this entire Tekken talk was the Ghost AI. If you played a game like Mario Kart or maybe New Super Mario Bros., you can set a record on something and then you have your ghost. It's essentially your saved data, which then you can compete against to see if you can do better. And that's exactly what this is in Tekken 8. But your ghost here is your sparring partner, an AI computer that is learning as you fight it. Kind of a glorified amiibo, if you will. And honestly, it's kind of scary. When you use certain moves and combos on this AI ghost, it'll pick up on that and then use it against you. So with this, you can train yourself to be better. Literally a better version of yourself. And while you're fighting your AI ghost, you can even see on the right, it says learning. That image right there is kind of creepy. I get just like Terminator flashbacks. I'm like, hold on now. But this is such a cool concept. You can constantly be growing and bettering yourself, fighting yourself. So the gameplay will never get boring or dull. They even showed a pro Kazuya player fighting off with a ghost, and man, it was a close battle. It's hard to tell that you're not fighting an actual player. That's a little bit scary. Now we move on to Arcade Quest. Arcade Quest looks like its own little story taking place of you, the player, working your way up through the ranks to become the ultimate Tekken fighter. But it also plays as a tutorial to show you the basics, how to play the game, ways you can improve your gameplay. And in this, you can literally just walk up to anybody and challenge them like you're playing stinking Pokemon. I like it. It's a really cool idea, and it's where the developers recommend you start your Tekken 8 journey. And speaking of Arcade Quest, there's the Tekken Fight Lounge. You guys may already know this, but the Tekken Fight Lounge is where you go online to interact with other players across the world and fight in epic battles. What I love about it is that it's not just one area. There's of course the main hub where you start, where you load in, where everybody kind of hangs out, but then there's the battle area when you want to go and get some intense battles in, maybe fight your buddies online. This is the place to be. But along with that, there's the customization shop where you can go grab that drip and improve your avatar style. Then there's the Tekken Dojo where you can go to train and hone in on your fighting skills. And finally, the beach area, a good place to just chill, relax, and maybe play some Tekkenball, which was another announcement. Tekken Tekkenball is back. With its first appearance in Tekken 3 and then returning in Tekken Tag 2, Tekkenball is back as a fun little minigame you can play with friends or foes. In this minigame, you don't even hit your opponent, you hit the ball. The more damage the hit is, or the greater combo that you build up, the more of a lead you'll gain against your opponent. It's basically volleyball but punching, and I'm really glad they're bringing it back in Tekken 8. But moving on from that, we have the online battles. Probably the bread and butter of Tekken and honestly any fighting game out there. But Tekken 8 will feature 3 modes for online battles. There's group, quick, and ranked. And with any of those modes, you can choose whether to actually fight or just spectate, which I think is a really cool feature because then you can watch a person play and be like, okay, I'd like to train with them. They're kind of close to my skill level, and then you guys go at it. Moving on, we got ranked matches. And this is the heart of Tekken, fighting to become the best. A few changes they made here. They've implemented a new best out of 3 system, which means you can't just rematch the same person over and over and over again. Some of you guys might disagree with this, but I kind of like it because it also means that if you have a laggy player that you come up against, then you don't have the potential of being matched up with them again even if you cancel out. I think the best of 3 system works because they also don't want you farming for XP. A bit of a bummer, I know, but it is what it is. Moving on, we got ranks. There is a total of 30 ranks. In Tekken 7, there were 37 ranks that you could get, but they dialed it back to only 30. They even said they're bringing back ranks from previous Tekken games that weren't in 7. And I like how with the rank system now, it like shows you your progress and where the next one is. And yes, it did it in 7, but this one like shows you the points, the numbers, and everything as you see your rank build up in a meter. I like that. So next up, we got my replay and tips. This is crazy. What's crazy about this mode is obviously, yes, you save your replays, you can watch them back, see what you did wrong maybe in a fight. While watching your replay, Tekken 8 will recommend certain moves that you could do to help you improve in a situation you're in on your replay. And from there, you can go straight into practice mode and practice that certain move that it just suggested. That's crazy to me. It's like having your own fighting coach. It's such a cool feature though. We also got to see some Raven and Kazuya gameplay, as long as some new Fang gameplay, and that was really cool. But then when it was all ending, they presented these 2 action figures, which I don't know how to feel about them. Like, they'd be cool to have, but $26? And some other promotional products before the game's release. Also, can we talk about this fight stick? This thing is gorgeous. And that's all the big news that we got from the Tekken Talk last night. As always, give me your thoughts down below in the comments. Let me know how you feel about all this stuff, but also let me know if I missed anything. But with all this new content, you can't help but get excited for this game's release. It's gonna be amazing. But thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next battle.